अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिहिल करीम व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि अजमाइन इला यौमिद्दीन। फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू कूनू क़व्वामीन बिल क़िस्ति शुहदाअ लिल्लाह। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम। Dear President of Solidarity Youth Movement, other Solidarity officials, respected guest speakers and my young friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and grace of Allah be upon all of you. Thank you very much for providing me this opportunity to talk to our youth in Kerala during these testing times. Undoubtedly, this is among the most challenging times of our history. We have multiple and multifaceted challenges from all four corners. COVID-19 is impacting every arena of human life. A huge economic crisis is knocking our doors that is expected to affect mainly the poorest and most vulnerable sections of our society. Hunger, deprivation, malnutrition, and even hunger deaths are on rise, and it is being expected that this will further accelerate in coming days. Friends, the second decade of 21st century is characterized by many disturbing global trends. The governments are becoming more oppressive and tyrannical, with sophisticated systems for surveillance in hand. So much so that the era is being termed as post-human rights era. Racism and polarization is on rise. Economic divide and inequality has reached to unprecedented peak. So it is this scenario in which we are coping with this COVID-19. It is yet to be seen whether post-COVID-19 scenario will bring any change into it. Will it make the world to introspect and carry out the course correction? Or as being apprehended, will it further accelerate the devastating trends? In our country, unfortunately, we are facing these challenges when the country was already passing through a very critical phase of its history. In last few months, we have witnessed something very unusual for a democratic country. Sane democratic voices of dissent are being suppressed with fullest possible force, and there seems a conscious target of making an end to all dissenting and debating space available. We have seen even during lockdown, there have been a series of detentions and arrests of social activists and student leaders, even pregnant women, carried out by Delhi police. Crackdown was clearly directed towards those who were active in anti-CAA and RC movement that was undertaken for the protection of our constitution, democratic ethos and civil liberties. We have seen some highly respected social activists and intellectuals being implicated in false cases related to Northeast Delhi riots. I think it is the height of police high-handedness that people who are peacefully protesting for the rights of marginalized and minority communities are being implicated in riots whose main victims were same people, and it was clearly visible to everybody that the target of these riots itself was to suppress their struggle. So same people are being arrested and implicated with the allegation of orchestrating these riots. This is the most classic ever example of the extent to which the police can go if they are provided with the lethal weapon of draconian legislations. In a democratic society, media plays the role of conscience keeper. But unfortunately, major part of our media has chosen for itself the role of cheerleader of an oppressive and divisive regime. No civilized society in recent past would have witnessed a media regime that is out with a hate-mongering project of dividing its own people on the lines of religion and caste. Professor Toynbee, the famous historian, has rightly said that civilizations never die, they always commit suicides. And biggest sign of a civilizational suicide is when its leaders and conscience keepers are out for dividing its own people and creating rift between sections of society. It is our responsibility to save country from these suicidal forces, whether they are in government, in politics, in police, in media, among intellectuals, wherever they may be. So my dear friends, now we have many tests, many examinations before us. The first test of people of India is whether they surrender to the oppressive and coercive tactics of those in power. It is the strategy of all oppressive forces to create fear and terror and thereby suppress the dissenting voices. It is our responsibility of our youth, our activists, our organizations, opposition, to show decisively that they would never surrender. Their guiding light will continue to be constitutional values that are the defining feature and building force, binding force for people of India. The struggle for the fundamental rights of all people of India, as guaranteed in our constitution and in our legislations, should continue in peaceful manner. Standing up for justice, fighting for the rights of people is a responsibility of every individual. It is divine responsibility. As I have just read the Quranic verse in the beginning of my talk, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qisti shuhada lillah. Believers, be upholders of justice and bearers of witness to truth for the sake of God Almighty. The second important test is the test of patience. وَإِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ كَيْدُهُمْ شَيْئًا. But if you remain steadfast, patient and mindful, their designs will not cause you harm. All great struggles need people with great self-control and great commitment to values. The communal and fascist forces want the peaceful protesters to get provoked and indulge in extremism, in polarization and communalization, and even in violence. That is the easiest and time-tested strategy of making an end to any struggle. We must never succumb to this. We must never lose our moral authority. So far, our youth have resisted all these tendencies and continued their struggle in the most peaceful and inclusive manner possible. That should continue in future also. The third test is the test of priorities and coverage. Our struggle is for the well-being of all people of India. It should cover and address all pressing problems of people. The pandemic has led to a depressed economy, huge unemployment, hunger and sickness. We must prepare for the service of humanity and solving the problems of people. We must not get distracted by the negative propaganda unleashed by some sections of media and communicate the noble and pristine message of Islam and focus on this task with complete confidence and concentration. We must consider the problems of every Indian to be our own problems. We will raise our voices against all the harmful decisions and steps of the government, but we will also work simultaneously. We will work for the service and well-being of every Indian citizen. يُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Quran says Allah loves those people who for the love of God feed the needy and orphan and the captive. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We feed you only for God's sake. We do not seek of you any recompense or thanks. That should be our attitude, and we should continue with this. The fourth test is the test of unity and fraternity. Bigger the challenge, the bigger and more robust unity we need. Oppressive regimes always follow the policy of divide and rule. They want to divide us on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, on the basis of economic and political interests. The movement like solidarity should become the most powerful, uniting and cementing force for all people of India. We are happy at the tremendous and extraordinary social work done by our youth, elders and women during the lockdown. All over India, people have come forward, and I know that Solidarity Youth Movement has also great contribution in this regard. We are proud of all of them and want everybody to emulate this practice to the extent that it becomes a part of our identity. We all must be seen as the benefactors and saviors of humanity. So if our youth come forward and face these challenges with confidence, moral commitment and with wisdom, I hope we'll come out of it stronger, and this will become an opportunity to revive our ethos and become stronger, inshallah. I once more express my sincere gratitudes for providing me this opportunity, and I hope our struggle for the fundamental rights of people, struggle for justice for everybody, and struggle for the upliftment, betterment, and for solving the problems of poor and needy, all these struggles will continue with more energy and with more vigor, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khaira. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.